Like compared to the one you showed before, I mean, this is really, really, I mean, you should be really proud of what you did here. Like the bass line actually complements the melody. Like if you guys look at just like first system, right? If you look at the bass line, it complements what the melody is doing here a lot more than what it was before. So that's the new version there. And this is the older version.
Mm.
So right off the bat, if you guys can look, like look at the third bar here, third measure. Look at the third beat here. Look at this jump from A to F sharp. This we were talking about, and then back to C sharp. This was like really, really tough voice leading. But then look at what she does on this on what she does here. She smoothed it out a lot. So she goes up a fourth, and then she smooth out the voicing by spelling out the D major triad here, D A F sharp, doing like a triad kind of thing here. It smooths out the voice leading a lot, and she didn't jump to F sharp; she jumped to D. It goes D A D instead of D A F sharp, and then hop down to C sharp. And then you had kind of like a skip here leading to the F sharp. You didn't have that over here. See, it went A to F sharp. So you smooth that out as well. So it's like all these little things you did that made it that much better. It wasn't like anything super drastic. How did you like decide to do all these little changes? Like what was your thought process as you went from?
Oh, I researched the rules of baseline,
Yeah.
how to put a good baseline, and then follow the rules and then decided.
Was there any resource that you found that was particularly helpful?
Oh yeah, this is this choreo guide.
Does everybody see this? Choralguide.com. I see. So this is very specific about a bass line. Cool. So choralguide.com. By the way, I think I've said this a bunch of times in these sessions, but the reason why I don't go over or don't plan to go over music theory based things like this is because there's already so much free stuff that's already really good. The point of these sessions, right, is that we pinpoint something you should work on. Like last time we talked about the big bass lines that you couldn't, like it was hard for you to see, and then you
Mm.
went on your own, found the solution. That's
Mm.
like what I want to see, and that's what you did. I'm just looking at the chat now. Alex says it's nice to hear the other voices, tenor plus alto at measure 21, moving in eighth notes like the bass line. Oh, let's look at that, Alex. Oh yeah, yeah. This was a nice moment too. Yeah, nice
Mm.
catch, Alex. Yeah, you have this kind of like imitation almost going on here. F sharp to D, and then this kind of third motion D to B on the second beat. There's a nice little imitation going on there. And then this passing tone motion here. Really nice. Really nice job. Great. You're done with this piece here? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you going to do next?
I'm going to make a video,
Music video with this?
but just a simple one.
But
Uh,
how is that gonna be incorporated? I guess that's beyond the scope of these sessions. I'm curious to see though. You should post that though when you're done.
okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
will.
Does anybody else have feedback for June?
If I could offer just one bit, June overall, and I'm trying to look for some specific examples here. Choir wise, like if if you're gonna sing this with a choir, I would watch out for like leaps in multiple voices. So for example, I'm trying to think, like even if I look at like measure 9, for example, like
Mm.
you have the bass and the tenor going down, so it's a leap, then soprano leaps, and I know there's a stepwise motion in alto, but usually like when the choral voices all leap at the same time, practically it becomes very hard for them to line up right away, you know? And if it's just one voice jumping and the other voice is like going stepwise, it just makes it a lot easier practically to sing that.
Are you talking
Mm.
about the last two? Then I'll get to Alex. Are you talking about the last two chords here? These
Yeah,
two
like
chords?
even the one preceding that, like those.
I see your point, but I would also argue because the bass line, the soprano are going in contrary motion, that smooths it out. Like if they were both going in similar motion, that would be a problem. If the bass line went up like as a leap and then the soprano line went up as a leap, I think that would be more of a problem because they were contrary. It's good. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is that these intervals here, they have a fifth,
Mhm.
G, D, and then you have a B, D, third. So that works well. And then between the bass and the tenor, you have a basically a third and then another a third. And then you have the same note in the alto, which helps smooth it out. So it's not really like a
That's not
huge
a huge, I
issue.
wouldn't say it's a big issue. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like that and like measure 15, for example, like the kind of the first two chords jumps like that. And again, this you're right, Saw. There's contrary motion there, and there's, for example, alto and soprano, they go in thirds. So that's
Mhm.
fairly easy to intonate. when I sing in the choir.
Yeah, yeah. Like a lot of these leaps she's doing with contrary motion, yeah, which helps tremendously. So thanks June for putting in the work because it's like very obvious that you put in the work
Oh, thank
to
you.
do this. June, since I need to give you some critical feedback. How about that? I have a pet peeve about this. These tempo markings, my stoso is fine, but these tempo markings, 70 doesn't exist on the metronome. So if you go to like the metronome online, if you go to the metronome app, right? It shows
Oh,
you all the different tempo markings. So 70 doesn't really exist. You see, 69, 72. Don't ask me
oh,
how I know off the bat that 70 doesn't exist. I just know it doesn't. You'll start to learn which ones are real tempos and which aren't, So 69
mm,
is a tempo, 72 is a tempo. So choose one of those two. There's not really a great reason. I just think it's a bit more professional to use one of these tempos when we're writing like this kind of genre music. That's all.
oh, yeah,
And then the
got it.
last thing I should mention before we move on, but I don't think Yaren is supposed to be here, but I don't see her here. The last thing I should mention is this pickup note. You should treat it as a real pickup note. So don't put it as a fourth beat of the first measure. Just have a bar that's just this note.